Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Today we have a lot of different updates kind of scattered, but obviously focusing as much as we can on XRP as it is our favorite. Estimated 400 million euro blockchain AI fund to avoid lagging US China. Yeah, see the little cookie thing down there, but I don't like to subscribe to all of those cookies. So if you see it on the screen, my apologies. A new fund has been set up with the aim of preventing the EU falling behind nations like the US and China on blockchain and artificial intelligence AI innovation. The European Investment Fund, EIF, and the European Commission have together put up 100 million euro, over 110 million USD, for a dedicated investment scheme that will make capital available to AI and blockchain projects via VC funds or other investors. EIF and EU agencies set up to indirectly fund SMEs, said in a blog post on Wednesday. With the cornerstone funding in place, the EIF said private investors are expected to bring up the 300 million euro, 331 million USD, into the fund, while the total could rise further from next year, with national promotional banks being able to co-invest under the scheme. Sifted reports that the fund could ultimately raise up to $2 billion or 2 billion euros or 2.2 billion USD under the Invest EU program. According to the Post, the EU already spends plenty of blockchain. Expected spending for 2019 is 674 million USD, but that is mostly directed towards research and proof of concepts. The US is the biggest spender with $1.1 billion USD expected spend, and China is second with 319 million USD, according to cited numbers from the International Data Corporation. The new fund is aimed to address the fact that not so much is spent in the EU on developing larger scale projects. Investing in a portfolio of innovative AI and blockchain companies will help develop a dynamic EU-wide investors community on AI and blockchain. By involving national promotional banks, we can scale up the volume of investments at a national level, the EIF said. Next, we have the ripple effect by MercuryFX reveals new plans for XRP as Santander brings OnePay to the U.S. Two of Ripple's clients are announcing plans to expand their use of the company's cross-border payments technology. In a new interview with Bloomberg, the executive chairman of Spanish banking giant Santander, Ana Botín, says the company is bringing its Ripple-based payments app, OnePay FX, to the U.S. We are launching OnePay FX, which is a blockchain-based retail cross-border payments platform with Ripple, by the way, a U.S. company. That's coming to the U.S. We're going to do open banking. So far, OnePay FX is live in 4 corridors, the UK, Brazil, Mexico, and Spain. Santander is utilizing Ripple's payment messaging system that's designed to compete with SWIFT and does not utilize XRP. Meanwhile, MercuryFX, a global currency exchange provider with offices in London, Hong Kong, and Cape Town, says it plans to expand its use of Ripple's XRP-powered payment solution known as on-demand liquidity. And that's kind of the thing. Now, in my opinion, the political thing with NDAs, and until they are ready to flip the switch, when someone says we are not utilizing XRP, it's because they're utilizing ODL. At a recent conference held by Ripple, MercuryFX CEO Alastair Constance revealed the company's plans to bring ODL to Africa. The company is also opening an office in Dubai to launch a corridor between the Philippines and the UAE. The Filipino market alone is worth US $2.5 billion a year. Sending money there typically costs about 8%. We can easily beat that rate thanks to Ripple, which means huge savings for our customers and a new profit center for us. MercuryFX is one of the first financial institutions to use ODL. Formerly known as XRapid. The company launched its first payment using the technology in late 2018 with an ODL-powered corridor between the UK and the Philippines. China's central bank's Shanghai unit officially announces to crack down on crypto exchanges. I'm not going to go into that. As we know, it's kind of a political weapon, so to speak, that they continue to throw that around. I'm not sure if that's for U.S. media or if it's for the Chinese citizens to frighten them or what's going on there. I'm not quite sure. But it is a good thing, I will say, to another currency that we speak here often, VeChain, because we know that VeChain is one of the 2 approved Chinese digital asset and cryptocurrencies. HSBC, Santander, and SBI Group preparing for RippleNet mass adoption. It kind of speaks for itself if you're aware, but I'll go into this a little bit just for anyone who is new to XRP or investing. Seismic shifts in the way banks do business are starting to be announced by global banking giants, and it seems RippleNet ODL is right at the epicenter. Ripple Bank partners such as Santander, HSBC, and SBI Group are starting to come out of the woodwork regarding RippleNet usage and expansion. This is the year the wheat will be separated from the chaff. Not many months ago, the media was saying no one will use XRP, which made for good skeptical headlines. Today, you can't say that, as people are starting to use XRapid because it's better, faster, and cheaper. I expect dozens of banks to be using XRP by the end of 2019. Ripple CEO predicted dozens of banks would be using XRP by the end of this year. That figure is today 24 or 2 dozen. Comment by Brad Garlinghouse on XRP adoption in 2018. Our biggest takeaway from Swell this year was the sheer number of banking elites discussing DLT and ODL as if it were now generally accepted as the future of banking. For decades, banks and financial institutions have lived with slower growth, slow payments, unable to use trillions sat in pre-funded Nostro Vostro accounts. Ripple has found a revolutionary new way. Its working partners have now realized the potential of XRP, ODL, DLT, and the vast amount of savings it represents. This year has been our strongest for Ripple yet. In 2019, we've seen continued momentum with customers, growth of RippleNet, and adoption of on-demand liquidity. In just a year since we launched ODL, we are already making an impact on the bottom line for our customers. We're excited to continue this momentum into next year and for the expansion of ODL into new markets. Statement by Brad Garlinghouse. The U.S. Federal Reserve exploring digital dollar and its effect on the monetary system. The United States Federal Reserve System is exploring the development of a central bank digital currency, also known as a CBDC, and what issues and what risks it could potentially pose. The Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell provided a response to U.S. Representatives French Hill and Bill Foster's request on whether the Federal Reserve plans to launch a national digital currency. Financial Services reporter Zachary Warmbrodt tweeted on November 20. In the letter, Powell set forth the Federal Reserve's view on the creation of a CBDC, emphasizing that although the current agency is not currently developing a CBDC, it has assessed and continues to evaluate the cost and benefits of such an initiative. Powell revealed that the agency is conducting its own small-scale research-focused experiments to gain hands-on experience and better understand the opportunities and limitations of CBDCs. CBDCs raise a range of legal concerns. Powell said that prior to issuing a CBDC, the Federal Reserve has to address a number of legal questions, including monetary and payments policies, financial stability, supervision, and operational issues, and their vulnerability to cyber attacks. Powell continued saying, if it is designed to be financially transparent and provide safeguards against illicit activity, a general-purpose CBDC could conceivably require the Federal Reserve to keep running record of all payment data using the digital currency. And sometimes that raises issues related to data privacy and information security. Lastly, Powell noted that a number of design features could be considered for the development of a CBDC, including the governance of the outstanding stock of such a currency, the necessity of a Federal Reserve payment system to conduct transactions, and the issue of anonymity in regard to owning and transacting a CBDC. In response to Powell's letter, Representative Hill expressed enthusiasm that the Federal Reserve is exploring whether there is a point to issuing a CBDC, and said, "This decision would have far-reaching implications on every aspect of America's monetary policy and requires a deep level of analysis to ensure proper implementation." Representative Foster said, "My main concern is that we are not caught flat-footed by fast-moving developments in other countries that may put our economy at a competitive disadvantage and threaten the primacy of the U.S. dollar." We're going to finish off this segment with Bitgo selected by Ripple to provide multi-signature security, advanced treasury management, and additional enterprise functionality for XRP. Though some articles are not immediate current, when I say immediate current, of like today, tomorrow, this week, it is this year. But even if it were older, if I'm adding it to this any article I'm discussing, I feel it is relevant and very important to still understand. Blockchain software from Bitgo announced last week it was selected by Ripple to provide multi-signature security, advanced treasury management, and additional enterprise functionality for XRP, which is the digital asset native to the Ripple Consensus Ledger, RCL. It was revealed. Ripple is a perfect partner for Bitgo since our mission is to make digital assets like XRP usable for business. Bitgo's sweet spot is providing businesses the tools they need to integrate digital assets into their existing financial systems securely and at scale. And recently, if you've heard the discussions from the ECB, you've heard them mention scale. We process over 1 billion USD in transactions per month, and our customers include the biggest digital currency exchanges and applications in the world. Bitgo reported that Ripple is accelerating exchange adoption with a volume incentive which reduces or eliminates costs for an initial period. The company noted that the RCL has been processing and validating transactions on the network since 2013, closing a ledger every 5 seconds. Bitgo went on to add, Ripple enables banks and payments businesses to settle cross-border payments in real time with end-to-end transparency and at a lower cost. XRP can be used as the primary transfer mechanism for institutions to further reduce cost, offer greater liquidity, and provide access to new corridors. In fact, Ripple reports that businesses using XRP for liquidity between currencies can cut their settlement cost up to 60% and expand their reach into new markets. And that's going to conclude this segment. Again, as always, the information will be available in the description below, so you can have the links provided there for you if you would like to further read yourself or do additional research. And again, we are not financial advisors. It is not financial advice. We're here for entertainment purposes only. Wishing you the best of days, and we'll catch you in the next one.